So when I work with clients, I often tell them that you deserve are the two most dangerous words on this journey. Whenever you hear yourself like you deserve or I deserve, be very mindful of what comes next after that, because you deserve to not drink. You deserve to not eat sugar. You deserve to feel your lightest, most inspired, creative, lit up self. That's what you deserve if that's in alignment with your self narrative. Okay. And so to dive into I write about 5 relationships in Habit Freedom, 5 core relationships. The first one is the relationship with discomfort, which it sounds like you've got it. You can push through the cravings, the discomfort. You see a croissant, you can say no to it until you white knuckle and you white knuckle and you white knuckle, and then you're like, screw it. I will have all the croissants and the chocolate cake and the ice cream and everything all at once. And so we get so good at this, well, some of us get good at that relationship with discomfort until we don't, while there are others who need to learn the basics of their relationship with discomfort, right? Like you can feel a little bit hungry and not give in to that feeling. You can feel the need to escape or numb out or scroll or drink or shop. And you can sit with that discomfort. You can watch it rise. You can observe it within your body and not give into it. The thing, and I was that for many years, and that's why I was stuck for 7 years, right, with all those limiting habits. The thing that really transformed my life, that really clicked things into place, was the second relationship that I write about, which is the relationship with the light. And what I mean by light is at the core of all human everything is this dichotomy, this polarity between darkness and light, right? We live on the spectrum, and it's like that yin yang sign, right? That's all encompassing, and there's a little bit of yin in the yang and a little bit of yang in the yin. So a little bit of darkness in the light and a little bit of light in the darkness. And so with these limiting habits like eating sugar, which has quite a dense energy and it grounds you very much, and like alcohol has also quite a dark, dense energy. And I truly believe the difference between people who have a problematic, quote unquote, relationship versus not is that for the most part, that the people who don't have a problematic relationship balance out the dense, dark energies of alcohol with light practices, with nature and music and creativity and connection and work that lights them up or whatever. But the balance between darkness and light is a healthy one, right? Where it becomes tangled, where, like for me, what I experience is that the darkness of the alcohol and then like the sugar cravings and everything that came with it, all of that like became so overwhelming that my own constitution of light versus dark was like skewed towards darkness, right? And so it was so easy for me to turn to the darkness and the alcohol and the dense habits over and over again. So my relationship with the light means, number one, I have to feel worthy of living a life that's so lit and inspired, and where I'm so in love with life, like where I wake up and I'm like, wow, why the F would I want to numb this? Why would I want to spend 3 hours on TikTok? Like when I can like look up and see the beauty all around me, when I can move my body, when I can connect soul to soul with a person. Now, the problem with this advice, quote unquote advice, is that sometimes we live in dark apartments. Sometimes we don't see nature for days, like because we live in these concrete jungles. Like people are living all over the world with all sorts of limitations. And so it's difficult to see, well, like, where is the light? How can I get like more connected to nature and inspiration and creativity and all of these things? Because I do really feel that society has almost been like designed to entrap us more and more in the consumerism and in the density, right? And that's not a bug, it's actually a feature, because the more we get entrapped, the more we have to break free. So you're on this prison break. When someone asks me, like, what is habit freedom? And I say, it's the prison break you did not know you needed. And it's funny that you talk about, having worked in forensic psychology and everything, because we're all, and I'm not the first person to talk about it. There's books and books about being prisoners of our own mind and creating these narratives and constructs, right? But it's
Yeah.
when you realize that we're all playing a game of liberation. Why do you want that raise? Why do you want that business to do well? Why do you want that relationship? Why do you want that health? It's because you want to feel free, right? I want to like, it's a feeling, that's this liberation that you're looking for over and over again. And we get into cycles of entrapment so that we can break free. Again, it's not a bug of this program that we're living in. It's actually a feature. And when you wake up to the idea of, I get to break free, I get to experience the density and the darkness and the entrapment, and I get to set myself free, that's where you become the creator of your life and the creator of your matrix.
Yeah, I love that so much. It's an interesting thing how we can kind of separate our mental emotional world from our physical movement world, right? So when you're sharing about this, what comes to mind for me, and like this contradiction that I had in my brain in real time, is that within the emotional side of kind of keeping my shit together and staying emotionally regulated and these types of things, that stays constant for me. I've been doing this work long enough that when I notice those things kind of coming through, I can pull myself through and very much go the other way and choose the path of regulation over dysregulation, because that's my path of least regret, right? There's this other part that when it comes to doing what I know would benefit me most greatly and everything that you're sharing here, there's this block that I have that it feels like losing, right? Like it does for me in so many ways of doing the quote unquote right thing feels like losing. And I think I'm having this like little bit of an epiphany as we talk right now, because with the emotional regulation part, I I have this realm of accountability around me, and namely my kids, right? And my marriage and the sanctity of that and these types of things. These types of things are very upfront in my face. So when I lose my temper, whatever these things are, I see that immediately on my kids' faces, on the people around me, right? These types of things, they're much more obvious. And then my reason in that moment is to not cause harm to my kids, because that's way more important than me ever just like wilding out at this point. That part is more easy. What I'm recognizing here in real time is that this other part is me not seeing or not recognizing or not accepting, or whatever kind of language we want to use around that, that me disappointing me is okay. And that just because it's not my kids being affected, that it's just not so bad. So when I'm telling my kids how important sleep is, and no, we're not going to have sugar right before bed because it affects our sleep quality and all of these types of things, yet I'm eating a Snickers in bed watching Bravo right after I get them down, right? And it is these walking contradictions, and this is the work that I've very not very slowly, very quickly have had bring has I've had it come so much more quickly to my awareness since we moved. We recently relocated to the San Francisco area, the Bay Area, and I rode my bike in to work this morning, which is also why I was a bit late too, because I knew my body needed movement after a night of binging sugar like I had. And that was that part. And this is the work that I'm recognizing, is that I I'm working on reframing that for myself and really shifting that narrative from doing the better thing for myself is losing into this is something that's a win. It's something that genuinely is better for me. And already, as I say it, I'm already not believing it. And so that's obviously the work that I need to do for myself, right? There is that part that what I deserve is okay, fine. We'll remove that. There's the other part that I do feel better when I'm living within these habits, when I am taking better care of myself. And there's a block there of like whether I deserve to feel better all of the time. Where these things come from, what that's coming through. But that's why I want to share this here with you is because there is kind of this viewpoint that you and me sitting here as two experts in our field that we won't struggle with these challenges. And I'm sharing this so very honestly because I think we all need to see it and we all need to hear it and hear it said in a different way that then helps me understand and conceptualize it better for myself. And so that's my own work to do. And this isn't a session for me, but that's where I get stuck is like
The
this
world is a
feels
session,
like
the
losing.
world is a stage, everything,
Yes.
you know. I love that you
Yes.
shared that, Davina. And, like sugar hangovers are like real. It's a very dense, when I started to see things, and it's with the help of plant medicine, of light and dark constitutions, of certain things are going to create more density in my state, and other things are going to create more light in my state. And so, because as human beings and everything, we can only have two states. We either feel contracted or expanded. There's no in between. All the like joy, gratitude, light is going to make us feel expanded, freedom, right? Then like fear, anger, sadness, like anxiety is going to
Yeah.
make us feel contracted. And so we're either feeding the expansion and the light, or we're feeding the density and the darkness with every single habit and every single yes and no. That's why I say that our habits are actually our matrix, because you know the movie The Matrix, of like the ones and the
Yeah.
zeros. I really see what we say yes and no to. It's like these ones and zeros. It's like you're coding your reality through these yeses and nos, ones and zeros. And you're either, like I said, feeding the light or feeding the darkness. And to go even deeper into why you feel you deserve to feel the darkness and the density, that would very much be inner child work, right? And going back and reparenting that inner child, not one time, not two times, not 10 times, but thousands of times. Reparenting that inner child is thousands of decisions. It's thousands of times that you would have done it the old way, but you choose to do it the new way, right? And you choose for the adult version of you to take control of that moment. And so, yeah, to really understand that light and dark constitution, which is more unique, every single human being has it, and it's more unique than our fingerprints, would have to be like, well, when was the first time you learned the chemical emotional imprint of disappointment? Because you're creating reasons to be disappointed with yourself. And so then we'd go into like, where did you learn that emotion? And then there was a chemical imprint that got created, and now that chemical imprint basically creates these experiences over and over again. So going back to that core root, like for myself it was that loneliness wound. Really it would be the thing that we'd have to uncover for that constitution to shift in a significant way.